Hey guys, we are going to be looking at Chapter 3 of the Pearl today, so you'll need your packet. You're going to turn to Chapter 3. Don't worry, this isn't my only copy. I made a mistake in the last video, so I'm starting over with a fresh copy, okay? Alright, so Chapter 3 has two parts. The first page is going to talk about some new terms and some old terms. Do you know that the terms that are down here are any term in the whole packet, in fact, are the terms that will show up on your exam. So, whatever it is that, however did you like to study, you need to start studying these terms soon because you're going to need to know what they mean, you're going to have to be able to identify them, okay? Keep that in mind. So here we have diction, word choice intended to convey a certain effect. You know diction. We've talked about diction this year. Diction has two pieces with it, right? So denotation is the dictionary definition of a word. It's what the word actually means. Oh, and there should be another T in there, so if you'd add that in, that'd be awesome. And then connotation refers to the feelings and attitudes associated with the word. So this is like the feeling behind the word. We practiced this earlier in the year. You got to think of some negative words and some positive words and see how they changed how a story went, right? So some of you had like a scary mood you created. Well, tone is very similar to mood, but it's about the author instead of the reader, okay? So, speaking of tone, tone is the writer's or speaker's attitude toward a subject, character, or audience, and it is conveyed primarily through the author's choice of diction, imagery, figurative language, details, and syntax. Now, that's a lot of different things, but you're going to be focusing on diction because that's what this lesson is about, okay? So if you go down and read the prompt, that's a typo, the diction choices, so again, you're only looking at diction. How do the diction choices create Steinbeck's tone? Here we want to know about his attitude, and in this case it's his attitude about society, okay? Now, you have to have 30 words minimum, so please do be aware of that when you start writing. Once you've gone over all of these definitions, you're going to come back up here and you're going to read this section, and you're going to mark what words you think help create the tone. I'm going to let you pause the video at this point, read that, and mark it up, okay? Welcome back. Hopefully you've read and marked your paragraph at this point. Now we're going to be filling in our paragraph at the bottom, okay? So this is where you do your work. Steinbeck's perception of society is very blank. So here you're going to tell me what Steinbeck thinks about society. Then it says he creates a blank and blank tone. And you're going, oh my goodness, Miss Naylor, I don't know what kind of tone he creates because I don't know what tone words are. Guess what? I posted an entire list of tone and mood words on the portal for you. So all you have to do is go pull it up. It's in the assignment for today, okay? So that might help you out. Could even save it perhaps in your Notability so you have it if you need it. So you're going to need two words that describe his tone, right? So these are going to be your tone words. And they should probably be similar in meaning, huh? Now, hopefully by now you figured out these little asterisks that we use are indications that you need to have some text evidence, embed a quote, right? So the words blank and blank have a blank connotation. So you'll have some text here and some text here. And then here you're going to have another tone word. And blank. Here's where you do the explaining, right? How do these words show you? Don't say you, say the reader, right? Steinbeck's attitude. That's what you've got to figure out. And again, you have a minimum word count, so make sure you meet it. We're going to turn to the next page now. So if you're not ready, you can pause and come back, okay? On the next page, we actually have our examples here at the top, or excuse me, not examples, definitions here at the top. Okay, so we have, first of all, figures of speech, words or phrases that describe one thing in terms of something else. And that is a whole category, right? So these three underneath, metaphor, simile, and personification, These are all kinds of figures of speech. So a metaphor is a comparison of two unlike things, not using like or as. A simile is a comparison of two different things or ideas through the use of words like or as. And personification is a kind of metaphor that gives inanimate objects or abstract ideas human characteristics. Keep in mind, some of you struggle a little bit with some of these, especially personification. It's okay to go and look up some examples online to refresh your memory, okay? Some of you are choosing just similes as personification because there's a person in there. Well, it has to be something inanimate acting like a person, right? So let's take a look here at the example. We're going to analyze this text. "The doctor would not come," Kino said to Juana. She looked up at him, her eyes as cold as the eyes of a lioness. This was Juana's first baby. This was nearly everything there was in Juana's world. And then I have my citation, Steinbeck 7, right? So the first thing I have to do is list the key words of comparison, okay? So essentially I have to figure out what's being compared. In this case, we have Juana's eyes being compared to the eyes of a lioness. So they're both eyes, but I'm pretty sure a person and a lion don't have all that much in common, especially a big lioness who's, protecting her cubs. So that's my comparison. And the thing about them that's the same is that they're both cold, right? And so that's what I'm going to do down here. So this is the literal part, right? What's being compared? Well, I have Juana's eyes, and I have the lioness eyes. Now, over here, I have to draw myself a picture. Okay, so I need to somehow figure out how to describe how Juana's eyes are like a lioness's eyes and that they're really cold. So I guess I could draw a great big eye. And this looks like a human eye. See how it has the shape of a human eye? But then on the inside, I'm going to make it like a cat's eye. So shape of a human eye, and then it's got this cat's eye thing happening because they have like those long, narrow ones, right? And then I might have some ice cubes hanging out. Whatever's going to help me understand this metaphor. And if you have a better idea for a drawing, please, please, please feel free to draw that instead, because my drawing is not that exciting this time. I used to draw Juana's face, and then in her eye draw a lion, but then I realized I was drawing a boy lion, so that wasn't super helpful, huh? And then maybe I'll even have the word like roar here to help me. So again, please feel free to do a better description than mine on this one. Alright, my commentary. Steinbeck uses the blank to illustrate blank. So the first thing I have to do is name my tool here. So here we have the word as, right? This as tells me right away that it's a simile. So Steinbeck uses the simile to illustrate how protective Juana is of her child. This mild and subservient woman becomes as fierce as a lioness for her child. So I'm analyzing what Steinbeck's trying to tell us by using this, right? And I could even, I have a good idea. What if I drew, like, here's little Coyotito, right? And here's Juana holding him. Okay? So here's the mom, there's the lion's eye and the ice cubes. Does that help a little bit? It's a little bit better drawing. Alright, so here at the bottom you're going to do the same. You're going to pick your text out. So you marked all those different figures of speech while you were reading, right? So go ahead, fill that in. You're going to list the key comparison. So there's your quote. There are the different things that are being compared. You're going to draw a picture that illustrates it. Much better one than mine, I am certain. And then you're going to write out your analysis, okay? And if you have to run over one more line, that's not a big deal. but make sure you're explaining why Steinbeck uses that illustration instead of any other, okay? And with that, congratulations, you have finished Chapter 3.